Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and for this one it is the debut of a particular route DLC, but as far as the route itself, only half of it is sort of making its debut, which will make sense eventually, I hope. Because the route DLC is London St Pancras to Leicester. This is the workshop DLC that I'd been trying to get to work for about a week and a half, something like that. And suddenly, from out of nowhere, it just worked. What did I do to get it to work? As far as I can tell, nothing at all, but it showed up and I tried it out and it's all working fine. So yep, more than happy with that. So we are going to do the entire length of this particular route. So we are starting at London St Pancras and our destination is Leicester. So this is a journey of roughly, I think it's about 98 miles. It's just shy of 100 anyway. As far as stops on the way, we will make a few. We'll stop at Luton. Okay, yeah, we'll stop at Luton. We'll stop at Bedford, and let's check the. So yeah, we'll stop at Wellingborough and Market Harborough. Won't worry about Kettering so much. So yeah, Luton, Bedford, Wellingborough, Market Harborough, and finally Leicester. So yeah, that's the stops sorted out. And the train is going to be a class 222 Meridian set. Now it's worded here 4+4 car set, so obviously yes, it's an 8 car set, but the reason it's worded like that is it's basically 2 4-car trains put together, and you'll very clearly be able to see that it is that because they have 2 completely different liveries. So yeah, it really does look, or it really does show that it is like, yeah, basically 2 trains joined. And as far as the specifics, it is spring, it's overcast, and it's 11:30 AM. So let's get this one underway. And here we are at St Pancras station. Here is our class 222. think we can, while we are out here, we'll get the lights sorted out. I don't think that's right. That is. Right, okay, so daylight running. And as we go along, yeah, there's the 4th, and here we have carriage number 5, so you can quite clearly see it's two 222s joined up, because this one has a very different livery indeed. Right, let's continue getting this thing set up. Right, let's get this going into forward. Lights have already been done. Definitely get shots of that. Right, instrument lights, I've got to try and remember where they are. Here we are, and it looks like they are already on. Okay, no they weren't. Do we need the main cab lighting? No. Although it is overcast, there is still enough light, I think, so we are okay. So Leicester, 98.83 miles, so yeah, it is just under 100 miles. So the original part of this route, which you've seen a few times before, the St Pancras to Bedford route, that is just over 50 miles. Actually, I think it's about 52, something like that. And then, yeah, once we have left Bedford station, we will be on to the new bit. So, anyway, we are almost set. Let's just get passengers on or off. Despite this time of day, I think London to Leicester, there's frequently going to be a reasonable number of people wanting to use this train. Put it this way, it's an 8-car train, so you would imagine that the demand is there. There we go. Right, doors are shut. Now we are all set. Let's yeah, ready the old DR8, don't need that because the light is green. Let's get up and running. It does take a little while for the brakes to initially come off. Here we go. Now we are all good to go. So as always, 15 mph limit as we are pulling out of St Pancras station. That was close. So straight away onto a relatively steep uphill climb, 1 in 142. So we're into a 20 mph zone. Yeah, this uphill section does actually make leaving the station a bit awkward, because just going at a notch 1 and we are accelerating, so we have to keep switching between notch 1 and coasting. So it's levelling out a bit more now. You can have a class 56 there at the yeah, that siding there where the cement wagons are filled. Okay, so into a 50 zone. We'll take it up to notch 3. I don't think we need to go higher than that just yet. Really good acceleration in the 222. Meridian is a great DMU, well DEMU. It's basically the Voyager trains as they should have been from the off. The 220s and the 221s had their issues, quite a few of them. They did eventually get things right. We're now in a 70 zone, but yeah, the 222s got it right off the bat. Yeah. Entering the 75 zone. We'll accelerate at knots 2 actually, and then by the time we've reached 75 we should then be in the 80 zone. We are entering the 80 zone now. So there we go. Take it up to knots 4, get us up to 80 mph. West Hampstead station coming up. We are just going straight through there. So our first stop will be Luton. We've got a little way to go before we get there. It does mean that there's a few somewhat major towns that we will not be stopping at. Like, well, St Albans, that's certainly one. Here we are at West Hampstead station. We're now in a 90 mph zone. Very quiet in the cab. Apparently that is accurate. It's there is a lot of soundproofing within the cab here. 319 gives us go by. Yeah, so yeah, because of the amount of soundproofing within the cab, it's yeah, pretty much whisper quiet inside it. Cricklewood station. Would if I clicked on the right thing. So we have another 319 waiting in there, so we go tearing through, and we are speeding. So into a 110 mph zone. This is the maximum speed on the Midlands main line. So this is a line that these days the 222 has pretty much made its own. It absolutely rules the Midlands main line. There's still a good number of 220s and 221s that use it, but yeah, it's really the 222 has made this line its own. Even more so than the class 45s did, you know, back in the 70s and early 80s. Yeah, even on notch 1 we're still gaining speed. Mill Hill Broadway is the next station, which again we just go shooting straight through that. Get us a bit closer to 110. So this section of the Midlands Main Line from St Pancras to Bedford is the only part of the MML that is electrified. So I guess, you know, if you really want to experience this run and, you know, have the whole, you know, the full works to do, you could do this in an 800 or an 802 or an 805. And again, the 802s and 805s do run on this line. Not a huge amount, but they do make appearances. You're more likely to see 802s, well, 802s in particular, really at the other end of the Midlands Main Line, as you get, you know, Trans-Pennine trains, and they use 802s relatively often. Another 319 there. So I reduced speed rather early, to put it mildly. So yeah, the 100 zone starts with this tunnel. Once we're out of it, we are entering the 110 again. And we're also very close to Borehamwood station, Elstree and Borehamwood. So we're up to 100, and we're about to enter the 110 zone. There we are. Right. Let's get us back up there. There we go, Elstree and Borehamwood station. There is Elstree Film Studios. I think while we are here, yeah, we can do a radio test.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the tone.
This is a NRN radio test call.
This is a NRN radio test call.
So there we go, the test worked. Radlett station coming up in just under a mile. So that is all you can do with this radio here. Well, actually, yeah, you can turn the volume on it, up or down. So Radlett station. And I saw the double yellows. I wasn't sure if they were for us, but no, clearly they're not. Now you have Class 43 coming up. It wasn't until around 1981, 82, in fact the more I think about it, yeah, it was 82, that the Class 43 high-speed trains started running on the Midlands main line. But once they did, yeah, the days of the Class 45s were very much numbered. So speed reduction to 100 once again, coming up in around 1.25 miles. I reckon if we coast up to that we'll be fine. We'll be more than fine. I'm assuming that is a 319. Looks like it's being held at lights. It's certainly not moving. Yeah, it is a 319. In fact, it is moving. It's moving the same direction as us. Unsurprisingly, it's not going anywhere near as fast as us. So we're in the 100 zone. St Albans is the next station, so we're certainly getting through the miles fairly quickly. So we're fine as far as the speed limit going through St Albans station. Another 43. I don't think they'll be quite as frequent as they were in the previous video. So, yeah, we go through St Albans. St Albans is one of those towns, it actually looks quite nice, but it's a bit too quiet for my liking, you know. Which I know doesn't make a lot of sense, because the idea of being cut off from civilization is actually quite appealing to me. So, entering another 110 mph zone, so let's take us up to notch 4. I thought by starting this video at the time that I did, I would have been able to avoid all the fireworks, but no, still the occasional one going off. Shame we can't open the either of the side windows. With the wind howl, we'd get even more of an idea of the speed. Harpenden is the next station. We have a very slight speed decrease down to 105 just after there. I don't know why they would put it there just after the station rather than just before it, but there you go. Harpenden station. Still losing speed. Put it up in the notch too. There we go. Unfortunately, it's gaining speed a little too much. So we're on a 1 in 182 downhill gradient. Hopefully this doesn't result in us speeding. The sheer weight of the train, considering that yeah, it is an 8-car one, should prevent that happening. All 8 cars are powered as well, so this is quite the powerful multiple unit we're in. I can't actually remember what the BHP per unit is, but I would certainly imagine that, yeah, this particular train is at least 3,000 horsepower. So Luton Airport is the next station, so obviously the actual town is very close by, and that will be our first stop. There it is on the route display. Barely a mile after Luton Airport. Well, Luton Airport Parkway, to give it the full name. Probably need to start braking, only lightly, but yeah, we need to start losing some speed. We go through Luton Airport Parkway. And then continue on towards Luton, and we've got to start braking a lot heavier than we are. Easily fit all 8 cars onto the platform. So, yep, doors are open, so here we are at Luton. Stop there, I can still see then when the doors closed. They have just closed. Okay, onwards to the next stop, which is Bedford. As we are already on a 100 mph section, we can take it straight into notch 4. So top speed of the 222 is 125 mph, if it's written up there. But yeah, on this line, obviously, yeah, we're not going to get a chance to do that. 110 is not only the fastest on this particular route that we are taking, it's the fastest speed of any part of the Midlands mainline network. And whenever it comes to any upgrades of things like, you know, the track or you know, the overhead power lines or anything like that, the Midlands main line is always the last to get any. East and west coast main lines tend to be the priority, then you get the Great Western, then the southern, southeast and the Great Eastern tend to get theirs all around the same sort of time, and the Midlands always seems to get treated as an afterthought, despite the fact that, you know, it is the connection for, you know, a good number of, yeah, fairly major towns in England, you know. Leicester, Nottingham, Derby, Lincoln. Sheffield is actually considered part of the Midlands main line. I don't quite know why, but it is. So that's affected by it. And then you got, you know, places like, well, Bedford, Buxton, Mansfield, you know, none of these are minor little backwaters. And then, of course, not forgetting the line through the Hope Valley that takes you from Sheffield to Manchester. Now, surely that would be considered a major line. But yeah, all of those lines that I mentioned are treated as less important than Truro to Falmouth. Aha. I mean, it really does make it look like you've got one train following close behind another. So Harlington, next station, which we would just be going straight through. I think Bedford is roughly 10 miles away. Arlington station, not what you call a major station by any stretch, but certainly heading into more sort of rural areas. Flitwick station, yeah, a mile and a half away. Again, just go straight through it. Another 319. So yeah, Flitwick station. It's very much like it's right in the centre of town. I can't say I am even remotely familiar with Flitwick town, but there we go. They have a 100 mph speed limit reduction. They always say that wrongly. The reduction to 100 mph. I don't mean, yeah, the speed limit is reduced by 100 mph. We therefore got to do 10 miles an hour. It's fairly short, and then we are back up to 110. I don't think we are going to... Oh yeah, okay. I did have to put a little braking on there, but yeah, we needed it. So this 110 mph zone must be as soon as we leave the tunnel. Yeah, it is. Just wait for the rest of the train to get through. There we are. So this is the second video to feature the 222, and it's still never been shown going at its top speed. Although it's a damn sight closer to its top speed in this video than it was in the first one it appeared in. You know, fast catching up with this 319. Not the biggest of surprises. In fact, we were technically, yeah, we were speeding then. Surprised we didn't get any notification. line 43. It's a lot like a mine of some sort there, but I'm not entirely sure that there is one there. Could be a cement works. So, Bedford station coming up in a mile and a half. Probably need to start braking because, okay, the brakes on this thing are not terrible by any stretch, but we are still asking an awful lot of them. Pretty sure we'll be able to get all the train on this platform. Yeah, no problem. There you go. So, it used to be that this would have been the end of the line for this run, but not now. We still have another 49.2 miles. So yeah, here we are at Bedford. So, right, onwards to the new section, or at least we will be once the guard has signalled. Train can't move until he has. There we go. I never bother signalling back, largely because, yeah, it's not that one. I can't remember where the button is to signal him. Now, we're not completely into the new section just yet, because there is actually another stop. As you notice, we've now left the electrified section of the route. There is a small station that, yeah, can only be reached by electrified trains, but rather ridiculously, you can only get to that station if you start at Bedford station itself. You have to select that on the quick drive, and then you do a run of, I think it's about zero point 0.4 miles. So yeah, it is a bit ludicrous. So anyway, we are now on to the new section. So keep in mind, everything you're seeing now is free. So if it's not quite as detailed as the rest of the route, or you know, something about it isn't quite accurate, you can't really complain too vociferously, because yeah, you got this route for nothing. I certainly have no complaints about it at all. I think this is a great addition, especially as, I mean, first of all, it allows you to do London to Leicester in one go, but it also now means that we can do London to Nottingham, London to Derby, London to Lincoln, London to Sheffield, London to Manchester, London to, well, any station on the Midlands mainline network, and we can even go beyond there, because we can get to Manchester. We can then do London to Liverpool. It opens up a hell of a lot of options. So our next stop is Wellingborough. I have no idea whereabouts these stations are and how far apart or anything. So I think there's only 3 or 4 new stations on this new section. It's not that they haven't wanted to put any more in, it's just that that's how many there are. But one thing we haven't checked, yeah, the passenger view. I'm really not a fan of this 2 seats one side, 1 seat the other seat arrangement. You see it on so many modern HSTs. I'm not keen on it. In fact, not just HSTs, you see them on so many modern trains, full stop. You know, what is so difficult about having a central gangway? Why has it got to be to one side? I mean, the one good thing about it is it does mean that there's a bit more space. The seats can be slightly wider, and you know, considering the number of passenger coaches now that are, you know, you're crammed in like sardines. There's a 66 just going by. Quite a short freight train, especially for one that's being pulled by a 66, but there you go. 150 uphill. I wonder our speed was dropping quite significantly then. Yeah, it is certainly impacting our acceleration rate. As I keep saying with HSTs, they have rather high gear ratios. They are all about getting to the top speed. So they do sacrifice things like torque ratings and things like that. As we're now on a 1 in 120 downhill. So now, yeah, we need to control our speed with some braking here. Another 43. We have speed reduction to 85. That's a fairly hefty speed reduction, actually. Trying to see anything that would indicate why such a speed reduction is there. I'm really not seeing anything though. And building works there. It looks like, I don't know, maybe they're building a new station there or something. A further speed reduction in a mile and a half down to 65. There we go. So Wellingborough is coming into view, and that will be our next stop. We're fine for the 65 limit, but yeah, we've really got to carry on braking because stopping at Wellingborough. Brakes on this are not as good as I thought they were. Again, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get the entire train on this platform. Yeah, no problem. Doesn't look like it's going to let the passengers get off here, but nope, definitely not. It also looks very much like yeah, a lot more building work to be done as far as getting this station up to scratch. So that is Wellingborough anyway. In fact, just thinking about it, you didn't get the chance to see all of the surroundings. There's not a hell of a lot there. Okay, right, let's get moving. I think the next station is Kettering, but we're just going to go straight through that one. So into the 80 zone. A lot of building work going on around there. So now, yeah, we are in a 90 zone now. We are about to enter at a 105. So very nearly the top speed for this line. There we go, 105 zone. Again, that was an area where we really should have picked up a speeding error. Somehow we managed to get away with it. There's another speed reduction coming up. 1.5 miles down to 80. Another 66 freight train there. Got to really yeah, get the brakes on harder than this. Okay, so fine for the 85 zone, but of course we then have a 65 zone less than a mile further on. And then Kettering station 1.5 miles away. But like I say, we're just going straight through there. So we're in the 65 zone. Once we are out of Kettering Station, we're entering a 90. Quite the curve here. I can certainly see why the speed reduction is in place. Kettering. I'm not sure if Kettering is actually in Leicestershire. Anyway, into the 90 zone. Let's get some speed up. So next stop is Market Harborough. We will be stopping there. Yeah, retail park on the right and industrial park on the left. So in the 100 zone. Yeah, so we're on a 1 in 111 uphill gradient. The speed is coming down at a fair rate. Knots 2 looks like it's cancelling that out. So now 1 in 136. Not the the steepest hill, but looks like we do have the summit coming up. Right, let's see what it's like coming down. 1 in 133. We're not gaining any speed at all, in fact we're losing it. Yeah, it's a very slow acceleration as we're only in notch 1, but yeah, I'm quite okay with that. Leicester is now 20 miles away. So a fairly hefty speed reduction coming up here down to 60. Now, does that mean that the next station is... Well, no, there is nothing after it. I have no idea why, yeah, such a hefty speed reduction is coming along. Ah, there you go. So, Market Harborough is... I can't imagine that that is the reason for this speed reduction though, because it's quite a gap between the speed reduction coming into effect and the station. So we're in the 60 zone now. Quite a sharp turn coming up. There we go. Near perfect placement. And this time the door's opened. Looks like there's still more building work going on here. Yeah, this kind of has Market Harborough looking rather like a building site. We seem to be very much to one side of the town. Hey, there we go. Just wait for the guard signal to come along. So, no more stops along the route. We now carry on until we are at Leicester, which is just over 16 miles. Entered 85 zone. Now we're in there. MPH zone coming up in about 2/3 of a mile. According to our ETA, it'll be almost 15 minutes away. Oh, I just caught that. So entering the 110 zone, and now we're good. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to this route in the description. It's a Steam workplace, Steam marketplace or workshop, that's it, route. The marketplace is not the most reliable of services, but nevertheless I did eventually get this one to work. The other one that I've got through there, which is the electrification of the Edinburgh to Glasgow line, that worked first time. I can't remember the requirements for this route. Obviously the London-Bedford route is one, but yeah, I'm not sure of any others. There aren't. It's not a hugely demanding one, so yeah, I don't think you'll have any problems as far as, you know, meeting said requirements. And yeah, if you have the Midlands mainline network, then you yeah, it would certainly be well worth getting this. In fact, thinking about it, yeah, one of the requirements is that you have one of the Midlands mainline routes. I can't remember which one it is. Presumably it's one of the ones that has Leicester station, but it doesn't matter if you have either the steam version or the Just Trains version. Both work absolutely fine. So 1 in 161 downhill, but we are still losing speed. Now the rate at which we're gaining speed from notch 1 is, yeah, fine, it's very slow. In fact, we've got another speed reduction coming up in about a mile, down to 95. If we can coast that just fine. In fact, we're already fine as far as that speed limit goes. So we're in the 95 zone. Let the speed drop off quite a bit there actually. Didn't need to go down that low, especially as we got a speed increase back up to 100 coming up. So in the 100 zone, let's get that speed back up again. Yeah, in very open country now. So 80 mph speed reduction I suspect the first of a few speed reductions, because Leicester is yeah, really not very far away at all. So it looks like we are being diverted slightly, going over points anyway. Now is it the 50 or the 40? Okay, so it must be at the 40 then. Yeah, this is the 50 here, but we're still at the flashing yellow aspects. Left it rather late break than the 15, but yeah, we'll still be okay. Yeah, absolutely fine. In fact, I overdid it. So into the 14. Well, it looks like, yeah, those points that we just went over were the points we were being alerted to, but yeah, you couldn't not go over those points, so I don't quite know why the signals were flashing for that one. But there we are. So that was London St Pancras to Leicester. Never mind that it says Barnsley on the front there. Yes, using the new Steam Workshop route. And like I say, considering it's free, you know, it's it's a great one, and even if it was not free, that was a really good drive, and it now means that I have the complete Midlands mainline network, so I am well pleased with that. But yeah, that was a great one, that. and the Class 222 was a great choice of loco for the run. So all in all, yeah, really do have nothing to complain about there. Let's see how we did. Two speeding errors, that's all I got. Yeah, I'll certainly take that. So yeah, there we are. The new route, the London St Pancras to Leicester version 1 route, which yeah, you can get from Steam Workshop. I'll include the link in the video description. But yeah, I think it is well worth getting. If you like doing the St Pancras to Bedford run, I know it is quite a popular one, then this is a must-have. And like I say, I don't think the requirements are that you know, that stiff. I think it's only like 3, maybe 4 routes at the very most, and 2 of them, say, are obviously the London to Bedford run, and it's one of the Midlands mainline ones, so almost certainly one of the ones that goes to Leicester station. So, you know, it's 2 that are pretty obvious, and if this is a route that you're interested in getting, then the chances are you've already got both of those. So yeah, definitely a route to pick up though. So there we go, that is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.